By today, Mabochobocho from Hosheletsani Radio YouTube channel would be receiving paperwork from Apostle Mokoena. Now, I had actually mentioned this in videos around December that this does sound like a lawsuit. And it sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen. And then later on, when he sent a message asking for an interview, he got pretty much about the same communication that he's not going to respond. He is pursuing the legal route on this. Now, there are options to this particular thing. What is going to be sent first would be a letter of demand. So if he complies with that, it would mean that he doesn't go to court with that. So just so that I can explain for a few people who don't understand, there's a lot of people that do not understand how some of these lawsuits work. So they'll send you a letter of demand, and if you do what is said in that letter of demand, they don't take you to court. And if you watch the video that I once did in December when Chris was being sued, I gave advice concerning that, and I said this does not sound like some that thinking, but either ways, right? And so once you comply with that, they still might take you to court. Just to be clear, they might still take you to court because of the cost of documenting that lawsuit. Okay, when I explain that a bit, but also I want to use this video to talk to Mabochobocho on some of the things, and also people that are on the internet that might comment around the subjects concerning something that Mabochobocho said about me when I announced that I will give Tyrannus Apostolic Church the platform to respond, which is the right thing to do. Hear both sides of the stories and so forth. But he said that it didn't matter that he responds on any other platform. But there's something that Mabochobocho said about me in that video that was it pissed me off a lot more. And I think now I'm not as pissed off, but I want to explain why this is like that is how people in the ghetto think. And it's a very wrong way of thinking. Because what it does is that it allows us to continue painting people without being willing to actually listen to them. And so I want to talk about that, something that he mentioned about me in that video, to show sometimes we should think about the things that we say. It's the Reality Show, the daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time of your show, check out some of the videos that are down in the pinned comments, and I'm going to check you out over there. And so by now, it's either he is getting, if they got his email address, they would have sent him the paperwork. The lawyers would have sent him the paperwork. I am not a lawyer. I am not suing Mabochobocho. So attacking me doesn't do you any good. I'm not the one who's suing. I'm not the lawyer. I am not an advocate for the lawyers. I'm nowhere in the story. I'm just media. So relax. There's a lot of people who listen to Mabochobocho and sometimes listen to my platform. And so they'll come here. I'm disappointed. You are disappointed at what? That the tree fell over. We must stop this mentality of gang mentality. Okay? We don't function like that. So Mabochobocho has two options on this. When he gets this letter, it's either he responds by whatever demands are going to be inside there. Once he confirms that he has them, I'll come back here and I'll tell you what some of those demands might be. But first, we're going to let him get the paperwork. And once he's got the paperwork, I'll come back here, because I think there's also this misconception on YouTube that, we can't talk about anything. You can say that you're being sued by who. That's not, it's the nitty gritties of what the lawsuit pertains that you might not be allowed to talk about. And so, as I've stated myself, I can no longer go to Apostle and talk to him since it's now a lawsuit. I'll either be getting my information from secondhand sources from the media team at Tyrannus Apostolic Church, right? And so when you see any particular thingy, like I said, there are certain things that they wanted to respond to. They will be making those responses on the basis of this draft. So I mentioned that he has two options. The first option is to comply with the demands, and this does not go to court. But either ways, there is still cost. There's no way of dodging that. There is still cost. When the lawsuit was being drafted, when the drafting of the lawsuit was being pulled through, what happens is that they had to get a transcriber or a person to transcribe the details of what was being said to what pertains to the lawsuit, right? And so once they've drafted, it is now the duty of the transcriber to detail all these things that were said in all episodes. So if they have 10 episodes, they had to go and transcribe all of that. Now, the person who's transcribing has to be paid. Okay, the person and remember, this is how many months worth of work? It's about 2 to 3 months of work that has been taken forward. So that's going to add up to the cost of paying the transcribers and the lawyers for detailing aspects out of those transcriptions, what makes up their lawsuit. Okay, and so this is the part to just explain to people why either it goes to court or it doesn't go to court. It's going to result into some level of cost for Mabochobocho. Either ways. Because first, if he takes the first option, there might be cost that he has to pay for the lawyers. You'll remember Solomon had the very same issue. There was he lost the lawsuit, but also he was now liable to paying for the lawyers. That amounted to about 300 and something thousand in lawyers' fees. And so in Mabochobocho's case, it's likely gonna be probably the same. I'm not sure. I don't know. But what I do know that this stuff must have cost a lot. Must have cost a lot. I did peek. My apologies. I did peek a little bit into the messages, and the bill is over 100K. The bill is over 100,000. Now, when I say the bill is over 100,000, I mean the bill for the transcription and the lawyer's work to detail aspects of what the apostle is suing for. Okay. Now, when the paperwork is being sent forward, I'll then talk about what is he suing for and what not, and the demands, right? And so that is the whole thing that's what pertains to Mabochobocho's case right now. And so he's probably going to get the, if they do have his number, they're probably going to send him a thingy, request an email, and then send him the full paperwork. I'm not sure how long it is. The last time I actually did kind of peek at the draft, it was about 13 to 15 pages or so. And so it's going to be quite a pretty hectic one. I didn't see the details of the paperwork, just to be very clear here. So it's roughly about 15 pages of thing. It's pretty much going to detail what was said that conforms to what the case is about. Now, this entire thing, when I reported it first and I said this is probably going to sound like a lawsuit, Mabochobocho said nothing like that will happen. Well, it has happened. It has happened. Now, he then did an interview with the Home Cell platform, and when he did that interview, there's something that Mabochobocho said in that interview that for me was heartless. He's no friend. I don't see him as a friend. I want to be very clear. Okay? I see him as a person I know, and that's just about it. I would never put Mabochobocho next to me. Let's be very clear on that. Never. Why? Because Mabochobocho has issues. He has issues he's not dealing with. And because he's not dealing with those issues, it costs him to be very bitter when you don't take his side. I'm not going to take your side. Like, Mabochobocho literally fabricated a story on how this story came about. After I explained how it came about. What was the point of that? What was the point of him fabricating a story? There was no point. He didn't have to do that. Okay? He did not have to do that. He did not have to fabricate a story of how this entire thing. He made an entire thing and he made it about, no, Ricky is asking for funding from the apostle. And I want to tell you why I took great offense at that. And I will make an episode Right after this, so when you see this video, there will be a second video explaining my issues with what Mabochobocho said. So on this particular episode, I want to just highlight that he will be served with his paperwork. But I want to highlight why what he said was reckless. And like I said, I forgive him, but I don't want him next to me. I don't want Mabochobocho next to me. He's got issues that he's got to deal with. I don't want people like that next to me. I work hard for instance, right now, when you see me right here, there's a chart behind me, right? There's a laptop that is right here. It's got almost about 6 different chart works around it. I have my phone on with a chart. We were tracking this particular trade. I was tracking this particular trade. Say we as if, okay. And we sold right at the peak of that as it was coming. So that line that you see there, that's where we took the trade as it was coming down. We picked the trade right about there, right? And why do I say that? Mabochobocho said that I was seeking funding from Apostle. Now, I've been working on my craft as a trader for years. 4 years. And when I say for years, I mean I've worked in the finance industry. This is 2013 when you're seeing this picture right here. This is years ago. Years ago. Before anybody here knew me and all that kind of stuff. And it has taken me years working on my craft. Like I said, I'm in a trade right now. I was watching this chart from 7 in the morning. Right now when I'm finishing shooting this video, it's about 11. So I've been watching this thing for 3 to 4 hours. You take away the efforts of my labor by pinning it on being funded by Apostle. I want to talk about that on a separate episode, as I said. Okay? And we have to understand, people sometimes they support Mabochobocho, and I'm not saying don't support him. You support him, but when he's wrong, know when he's wrong. But I'll address it on a different episode on why that's such a wrong thing to do. Because after 10 years of my labor, you're just going to credit whatever form of success I might have to I was funded by Apostle. Utter rubbish and utter nonsense. It's the reality show with daily Christian commentary videos. As I stated, once the paperwork has been sent to him, I will see if we'll have a portion of that paperwork so that I can highlight some of the issues that are highlighted for the lawsuit and whatnot. And then if we do see it, or if we do get to see some of the points that are being made about what he's been sued concerning, I'll definitely come back here and tell you guys about it. It's Ricky. That episode that I'm talking about will be down in the pinned comment, so check it out, and I'll see you over there.